Edition Team Deathmatch!
Hey, this is Nate.
Hey, I'm Matt.
And this is Josh.
Thanks for joining us here on this video. We had to go ahead and dub over our match here, the inaugural match of 5th Edition Team Deathmatch, as we had some audio issues, so I appreciate everybody's patience.
Yeah, we're just kind of gonna throw some commentary on there and make sure that people can follow the game if they're picking it up after the fact.
Hope you enjoy the match.
We're going to start off here in a moment, just having Ross explain the board and kind of the rules, and initiatives will get rolled up, and then we're going to start with the match, and we'll commentate over and let you guys know kind of the action by action, play by play, and then we'll get to the end where we're going to have our sudden death, since it was tied at the end of the match, and that'll be very exciting. We'll let that play through as normal, so you guys can all get the tense action that was going on.
Spoilers.
Sounds like all the players can hear me. Sounds like I can hear the players. This is fantastic. Welcome to 5th Edition Team Deathmatch. Thank you for your patience as we got started. This is going to be our inaugural launch in our exhibition match to show off all the greatness that is 5th Edition Team Deathmatch out into the world. Thank you very much, everyone who has helped out and supported our Kickstarter. We're in the middle of the campaign. It's going to run until December 4th, and this is kind of showing off to everyone how this works and why you should immediately go over and support us. And, of course, all supporters will be offered the chance to jump into one of our exhibition matches. We have several scheduled throughout the month and into the beginnings of December, so get into that hot action. The next match that we have scheduled is going to be this coming Tuesday night, November 13th. It is going to be a pair of actual play streamers and podcasters, the Myriad Ventures and Vagrants and Vagabonds. They're going to be fighting it out on the Underdark Arena by Rob Walachow called Vault of the Spider Queen. So real quickly, just a overview of what is 5th Edition Team Deathmatch. It is a hour-long, team-based player versus player conflict using the 5th Edition Dungeons & Dragons rules. It is fast, furious, and brutal. We are expecting a high death rate, and we can't wait to get everyone in here. The players are about to roll initiative. We'll be setting that up and then getting things going. We're going to be playing for about an hour. I'm going to be setting up a timer here on my side, and then when that hour ends up, the team with the fewest amount of deaths is going to win. After the match itself, we'll go through a little bit of debrief, and then we will have a strategy talk. Both teams are coming in with very different strategies to take on this very unique map. So this arena itself is called Run. This is loosely based off of the chamber called Gauntlet of Walls off of Circe Victory's Fane of the Heresiarch. In this, both teams are trapped into an unending dungeon that goes on forever and ever, and they are being chased by a sentient swarm of living spheres of annihilation. Each of these chambers that they're in is locked by a door. They're held in by a door that is locked. Different kinds of doors. For example, in this first chamber is a barbed chiton chain door. The first dungeoneer to get out of that door is granted a bonus 15 feet of movement. They then can hustle out, and behind them, a trap is sprung on those who remain.
All right, and Ross has given us the rules, and so we'll go ahead and get ready to roll here with the initiative.
Our initiatives have been rolled, actually, and we're putting players down on the board. Chris comes in first with his 1 level into Rogue and 2 levels into Warlock, so he can get Devil's Sight. He is a Tabaxi race, so he can get extra special movements during the match, and we're about to start here.
And it just so happened that Team Chimera rolled their old initiative in 1, and then Team Jumanji rolled theirs afterwards. Chris tried for the door and failed. forgetting the rules of the match and ended up taking about 10 damage from the barbed chitin chain door.
That he did, which wasn't our initial strategy on this tour, but it still worked out, and he didn't die.
So there was that. And then here I came onto the board. I had one fighter and then 2 into warlock so I could get the devil's sight. And I was rolling dual wielder so I could use mace and axe at the same time. Took a bunch of equipment, dropped ball bearings there to kind of stall out the other team as they came at us.
And then there's my character here, last one pulling up for Team Chimera. I was at a Krokra. I was actually, all 3 levels were into Warlock, so we had the ability to cast the Darkness, which was the team's kind of, our general strategy is to impose disadvantage while gaining an advantage. And then did my movement here, and then as well dropped ball bearings down the ground to try to hamper the movement of Team Jumanji.
Coming in for Team Jumanji, we started off with Scott. All 3 of us took first level Barbarian and 2 levels of Moon Druid to get that nice synergy of once we're in that Moon Druid. So Scott came in and decided to come up and attack, I think it was Chris. But before he came in, he had to make a dexterity saving throw due to the ball bearings on the floor. Rolled a 4 and actually failed that dexterity saving throw, but due to the fact that he only had moved, I think it was 20 feet, and we had plenty of movement. I believe he actually shapeshifted into a bear before he switched over, so I gave him that little bit of extra movement. He's going to attack Nate there. No, I'm sorry, he's going to attack Chris the Tabaxi, and I think that is all that he... Oh, rolled the 10 and missed.
Yeah,
so it was pretty ineffective first round there.
For that first round, which was
useful for you as part of coming in, you could start off in that animal form, and I believe that's what all of us started.
Yeah, it was one of the rules, overarching rules of the game is to that druids could come in as like a free action wild shape.
So coming in on the second of Team Jumanji was Matt. He shapeshifted as a direwolf, trying to get that pack tactics, quickly moved up into the lower portion of the ball bearings, rolled his dexterity saving throw, and failed that one as well, I believe, because he did not have advantage. Stood up, made his 2 attacks, or it should be, looks like it. He rolled 1 attack, rolled a 20, hit, 2d6 on the dice plus 3 for 8 damage against Nate, I believe.
It was against me, yes.
So come in with a little bit of damage there. Last up was me, rolling in as JD, also as a direwolf. Coming in, I believe I failed my dexterity saving throw and had to spend half my movement to stand back up. Also made an attack roll and was ineffective.
And then there you see that comes in is the Spheres of Annihilation, the living sentient Spheres of Annihilation that would chew up the board. It moves 3 squares each turn on the DM's turn.
Then Chris attempted to open up the chitin door, I believe, and then was not able to do that.
Was not successful.
And then he swung on Scott, I believe, and missed that as well.
So you can see some markers are coming in over top of Team Jumanji's players. Those are supposed to mark a wild shape. I don't think we ended up putting them all on it.
No, this was our first go at this. I'm sure as we continue on with more matches, we will get this down better, where we can have the actual B shapes up and better looking as we kind of get that through.
They did, in fact, on the match today, and there we go. There's me popping that chitin door open, and once you pop the door open, you and your allies can move 3 squares to get through that door before the traps go off.
That's 15 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
which is a huge advantage to getting through doors, so you're not left in the room when the traps go off. Because, like this trap here, is very damaging the entire match to Team Jumanji. Well, tell us what it did to your team there, Josh.
Well, as soon as that as soon as that door opened, the allies were able to move through, and then the trap then triggers, and each of those rust-covered darts, if it hits you, it gives you a cumulative, I think it was -1 or -2 AC that is permanent throughout the match. So it's really tough to get through.
That would definitely make it quite tough, and I think the door had quite the advantage at hitting too. I think +8, or the trap, I apologize, had a +8 to hit.
And that trap really devastated our team, because I believe all three of us got hit. As you can see, a 27, a 22, and I think it was like another 23 hit me. So all of us had that cumulative -2 AC that we had to deal with for the rest of the match.
Yeah, it really eats in when you're easier to hit.
Yes, definitely does make it a lot easier.
Luckily, our strategy didn't really depend on us not getting.
Oh, and then there was my turn, and I got our team strategy started up. I should have got that started up sooner, but better now than never. Where I am darkness, giving us a shroud of darkness, so we could all see, and then the opposing team would not be able to see in the magical darkness. Darkness is a 15-foot radius spell and can cover all things.
Next comes in Scott, who was trying to position himself in a way that he could attack everybody, and really ended up kind of body blocking the door. It was, a little bit of a positioning hazard for our team on Jumanji.
I think at this point we were trying to get a few things set up with the tokens, so this could function properly.
Definitely had some issues at the very beginning with making sure that everything had an auto roll. That was something that we worked on while we were still in the match. But he was able to build up a quick roll for the brown bear bite and the brown bear claws, both which I believe, due to that devil's sight disadvantage for us not being able to see in the dark.
Yeah, and that was definitely the team strategy there, was to make sure that we couldn't get hit. But as you can see, it looks like your hit still went through there. I could see.
Yeah, Matt came through, kind of attacked through that doorway. I believe it was down at Evans, and I was able to land a blow. And due to that, I believe you triggered a Hellish Rebuke.
Yeah, I had Hellish Rebuke sat on my character, which is really nice as a warlock, because if somebody tags you, you just do 2d10 back if they blow their save. So,
and on a short rest recharge, that's really strong. Every time you get hit, I'm surprised you didn't use that more often throughout.
I didn't get hit that often. You guys didn't go after me after that, I think.
Which was coming in team strategy. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Coming in last on Team Jumanji, I came in and ended up having to skirt through my allies and make my way down just below the two of you guys. And I believe I attacked the Tabaxi Nate, and a 15 was not effective against your AC. I believe it was, a 7?
I think the Tabaxi was Chris, and yeah, I think his was the highest of the team, actually. I think he was rocking an 18 AC because he went ahead and picked up a shield when neither one of us. He had shield and a better dexterity than the rest of us, so he wound up carrying a pretty high AC.
Turns out rogues are pretty wily like that.
Sure are.
Yeah. Well, he decided to go ahead and take the warlock. The pact was with the Hex Blade, so he was able to pick up the at least medium armor and shield and have proficiency with it. Although my character still had a shield as well, and I wouldn't technically be proficient with it, I was able to with the Warcaster feat.
Oh, there's our first blood.
There's our first death.
Blasted Matt S back into those living spheres of annihilation.
And what were you able to do to blast him back that 10?
Yeah, he had a invocation, a warlock invocation that gave him a 10-foot pushing effect on his Eldritch Blast. It was called Repelling Blast, is the invocation he took.
And there's no save against that, right?
Nope,
If
just
the
happens.
Yep, it just happens. If you hit him with the Eldritch Blast, you have the ability to push him 10 feet.
That's really strong on this map, just being able to shove people around the map, especially into those annihilation spheres where as soon as you touch it, you're gone.
Oh yeah, it's so bad when you're toast like that. And honestly, a lot of people were like, "Why didn't you take more forced movement?" And it's one of those things that we actually look back on and go, "Yeah, we probably should have," as a bunch of warlocks. So,
Well, I think we had that, and we'll kind of get to that later in the match. As maybe, yes, it could have been good, and maybe there was some forced movement things that we had that were working for this.
So real quickly, it looks like Scott came in and attacked at Chris. Looks like it was a 15 to hit, but this time it was with advantage because he... No, I don't believe that did hit because it was a 15, and there's no source of advantage there, so the 11 damage would not have gone through. After that, Matt came through and rolled a
yeah, and I biffed
12. That is at advantage, though, because
It
he's
was
in
at
that
advantage.
darkness.
Yeah,
Mhm.
thankfully, otherwise
I
would've
don't
been
believe a 12
humiliated.
hit.
Yeah, we didn't want that to be a humiliation. And then humiliation in this match, and I'm sure it was explained by Ross, but anytime somebody rolls a humiliation, they are knocked prone, and the spheres of annihilation move forward 5 feet.
And I believe it went. Everyone kind of cycled through their turns real quick, and our strategy at that point was, oh gosh, we just got hit back into these annihilation spheres. We've got to get ahead of Team Chimera here. So next round, you'll see that Scott and Matt are both kind of moving forward to get ahead of everybody.
And there are a couple of attacks have gone in here. There was one, I think I had an Eldritch Blast on someone, and then Chris had a there was a movement that happened, and Chris got to do a
I believe those are opportunity attacks. for Scott
opportunity
moving
attacks.
after
Thank
the
you.
attack.
Yes, opportunity attacks on, and then Matt even got an opportunity attack as well, and
Just
again
'cause the
causing
way
a
that movement
fair
went
amount of
through.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you see Matt kind of trying to make his way in, kind of that strategy of let's get ahead of Team Chimera so that we can't get blasted backward again. And there should have been or actually there wasn't an attack of opportunity because Chris and Matt have already taken those reactions.
Yep, only get one reaction to recharge between your turns. So once we use them up, that's it. And there are those spheres coming back up again, ever present,
yeah.
ever creeping.
Yeah, and here I had placed myself right in between all three of you guys, kind of foolishly to make a one last ditch attack against you, and it looks like bad things are coming my way.
Oh, I remember this.
As the spears of annihilation are ever encroaching.
And there's Chris again. Yep, firing off that Eldritch Blast with that force movement. And I think this is where Team Jumanji took their second death.
It's really hard first two deaths that it put us at a severe disadvantage and really made us play more cautiously moving.
It's rough having to play from behind. It's always hard, but being able to come back from that is also a hallmark of some hardcore death matching. So.
Show that true adversity.
And it definitely makes it more fun. Coming back from that kind of deficit just makes you strategize a little bit harder. And
Oh, I see that in the chat of the game. Evans here, Matt Evans had casted his Expeditious Retreat. If you want to tell him what that does for you, Matt.
Expeditious Retreat is a lovely little spell that lets you take the dash action as a bonus action, which means you can start doubling your movement without having to spend like your standard action to do so, which makes it really easy for me to get through those doors and rooms faster. And this will come up again later to save my bacon later on.
Yeah. And then I see that you popped the door again. I didn't have enough movement to get in through the door, so I unfortunately was in the room for the trap.
Oh, that's right, those Blackfire jets. Right.
Yeah.
That was a Christmas save, and I of course rolled 1. I was 1 short of the Christmas save. Well, whenever we had a, I'm not sure why Chris was rolling a Christmas save there. He was out of the room.
You just like rolling dice with everybody. It's all good.
Hey, everyone loves rolling dice.
Oh, I apologize. His was a dexterity save through the door.
Oh, was this the chopper door? Is that what
This
it
was
is?
the chopper
demon
door,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what happened. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody that was in the room had to make their, I think, a Christmas save from the trap, but Chris Evans, Chris had to make his move through that. And then
I think it was a DC 10 dexterity saving throw or take 10.
Actually,
Oh, DC 13, oh.
It was
Yeah,
pretty
DC
nasty
13.
Door.
And then if you didn't pass, it was 15, I believe, piercing and fire damage, I thought.
At this
the
point,
fire
I believe-
damage was if you end adjacent to the door, you take 5 fire damage.
Yeah, that's correct. And most of us at this point had taken a feat that would have allowed us to receive half damage, but we weren't really keeping very good track of it here at the beginning. And I believe we were
Yeah.
taking full damage.
And you had advantage on the taking the trap anyway, so actually, Chris at that point should have, instead of dying where he just did, he would have been at advantage going through the trap and actually rolled a 20 and made it, and not be lying prone on the ground. So a couple things here, to always make sure you really keep a track of what you have and what you're going, and what the goings on of the board during the match and what you can do to negate it. Very important.
Such is the nature of 5th edition Team Deathmatch. You got to keep moving forward. You got a lot of things to keep track of. If you're not keeping track of it, you're going to suffer some more damage.
Yep.
Exactly. Time waits for no man and no dungeoneer.
At this point, I believe all of Team Jumanji had made their way into the room. I had respawned, made my dexterity saving throw, and made an attack.
Mm-hmm.
And on that one, definitely hit for 9 damage. And that one, I believe I put down our tobacco. I cannot quite remember, but I think that's what happened.
I believe it is, because what happened is when I went through the door, unfortunately I did not make my check, and I had to, that's when the darkness dropped when I failed my check and became unconscious. So it allowed you to have normal rolls against my allies.
So it finally had a little swing in the way of Team Jumanji.
Yeah, you guys we incurred our first death. Oh, and then there was a little bit of a mix-up in token grabbing there when my token was grabbed instead of Chris's.
Didn't you use that Tabaxi?
He used that Tabaxi wall climbing ability, I believe, to avoid further opportunity attacks or something like that.
That and double your speed or something?
The dash, yeah.
The double, he can use as a feline agility. He could double his movement for his turn, and it would have to, if he wanted to gain that ability back next turn, he had to have a movement of 0, and then he could again move double his speed. So effectively, if he took his normal movement would be 60, and if he took a dash action, he could move another 60 because his speed was doubled for that turn, gaining 120 feet, which was part of the strategy was movement in this arena.
Immediately following that dash, you had used an Eldritch Blast again to blast me back into the door where I had to make that dexterity saving throw again. And I ended up rolling it at advantage because I remembered that I had the feat and still ended up taking damage.
Yeah. Yeah, was that it right there? I think it was. Or no, that was another...
Following that, Matt had, I believe, taken his 2 attacks as his dual wielder against me, dealing 12 damage, and then ended up running away.
Yeah.
And I got my opportunity attack on him for 12 damage. It didn't end up being at advantage, so I didn't get both of those die rolls, so it's just a 12 damage.
Still significant, because we're not as warlocks, we're not terribly beefy in the build.
Yeah. And I think that was still enough to put him down, because that's why you came all the way back. You put in your attacks, took your movements, were taking your attack of opportunities, and that actually put you down. So I
really
just
swinging the game back in our direction.
Yeah, we're tied right here, and that's, there wasn't anything we could necessarily do either. When Matt Evans was down, there was no way for us to bring him back. Here, I respawned back in and had to put our second death on there. And I think, and then you guys popped the door right here. And then that's where the trap was sprung, which was a rolling elephant statue. A juggernaut, exactly. And you had to make a DC dexterity save on that, which that or take like 5 damage. And if you failed, I believe you took
20 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, it was big time.
If you failed that, and I don't think anyone actually did fail.
No, but it accrued to God, Matt Evans, because he was already down and prone. So it just automatically critted you and gave us our third death, putting Team Jumanji ahead of us. So now, where we had those two advantages on, our 2 deaths on them, had just gone away and swung back in their tide.
It ended up being in my favor to get repelling blasted into that door, because that put me out of danger with that rolling statue.
Yeah. And I believe you didn't have to go back through the door again, since you were already in it. You just were able to move right through at that point. And didn't have to make another check to come back through it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct.
And here it looks like Chris is finding the secret door. Or no, that was you guys. That's right. I apologize.
This secret door gave us quite a bit of difficulty finding, because in our animal forms, we're not very
Oh, yeah. And
especially with the DC 18 wisdom check, there's no way that our animal forms are really going to be able to...
Yeah, that would definitely be tough. It's a good thing that I wasn't up there with my darkness. You'd definitely been rolling at disadvantage to find a secret door in darkness.
Yeah, I believe is at this point in time I tried to make my way along the lower perimeter of that room into the next room and position myself to receive anybody who was going to come through. I ended up kind of out positioning myself in hindsight. I really should have put myself right in front of that door, so anyone who comes through is going to receive that opportunity attack from me if they wanted to really move beyond me.
And there's Chris going to see if he can make some space, trying to avoid getting gang beat by your team.
I think this is one of the times that he took that feline ability and made a double movement to get up to, or double the speed movement to get up to that door. And as we're kind of waiting on them to sort out what they're doing. Oh, and there's Matt Evans.
That's the respawn, I believe.
And I actually cast Expeditious Retreat, but unfortunately the Juggernaut, when it rolled through the room, made the entire place difficult terrain, so that's as far as I could get. So I'm sitting here trying to stay just 2 steps ahead of death. And in the meantime...
You cast Eldritch Blast on me.
That's right.
Shoot through that door.
Well, yeah, because the wall had been crashed through, so I've line of sight to everybody in that room at that point. So.
That was one of the Juggernaut's things, is it took down that wall altogether, and it also, yeah, like you said, made that terrain difficult, which didn't affect me at all because my character was flying.
Lousy Birdman.
Well, I mean, part of the strategy, movement.
And that Eldritch Blast did end up hitting 15 AC against the Dire Wolf, which only has a 14 AC, did not.
Oh, and that's right. I took the double movement here, moved through up 50, and then moved up another 20 there to the next door, taking the extra dash movement. So I would have had a total of 100 feet I could have moved in this round. And I believe this door was a bonus action finding it.
It was.
And I had found it. Rolled that 18, exactly what I needed.
Place the door right in front of you by chance.
I think with it being a secret door, it's kind of the point who finds it, they get it.
Well, no.
I believe, a D4 was rolled to determine the.
Oh, I think you're right. Yep,
Yeah.
Yep. Ross said rolled a d4 to determine, and I lucked out.
And those Dread Merilith statues coming in as soon as you guys had made your way through the door, I believe would have put those out onto.
Yeah, we were just waiting for the movement to get through.
Carrying over some of my
They
movement.
didn't end up being as devastating as I thought they would be, but
I thought those Merilith statues were going to do a lot of damage to us as they're placed out here. I assumed they would have had an opportunity attack, and with each Merilith statue having 6 arms and being able to make 6 attacks, it would have definitely caused a lot of damage to us.
Yeah, and that's where I was letting Ross ping on the map, let him know where I wanted those Meriliths. And I thought the same thing. I think all of us thought the same thing about the traps, that the traps would kind of continually be going off in the room once they were triggered. Again, something we didn't understand about the map by ourselves was that the maps, or the traps would only go off on the DM's turn. So, and that was that Chris coming through?
Looks
no,
like
that is-
Scott was
Oh,
coming through.
Scott.
Yep.
This turn,
Disengaged to avoid
everyone
knocking
on
back Chris, as I recall.
it
Yeah.
would have, but everyone on Team Jumanji had actually taken the disengage action to make their way through all of these hazards that were in this room with the Meriliths, and Chris sitting up there at the.
Blocking the door.
And
Yes.
certainly, if you want to play your game in 5th edition Team Deathmatch, where every trap goes off, that's up to the dungeon master of whoever's setting this all up. In this particular case, Ross had played it where the traps only went.
And here there were some attacks going off that we actually had to retcon in the end. After I had realized that your teammates actually took their action to disengage and not take any attack of opportunities from Chris as you move through the door, so we had to retcon all that back.
Yeah, we really thought we had gotten an advantage on you, but like I said, this game moves very fast, and so it's very easy to forget little rules.
Yes, and actually I had first took the damage. I even rolled a Constitution save to keep my darkness up, because again I was thinking, oh yeah, everything's happening, and okay. Oh, and that's right. I think you moved back to try to block the door, and since you took your movement, and realized you couldn't hit me, I went ahead and hit you.
got to do that. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I had that Warcaster feat where I was able to actually cast a spell on you instead of attack. So I cast a big one on you, try to get some damage going.
And that Scorching
Scorching
Ray
Ray.
is
Yeah.
definitely.
It was.
And when you have advantage due to the darkness and the Devil Sight, Scorching Ray is a strong.
Yeah. I don't remember if you were in wild shape form at that time.
I was, yes.
Oh,
Right. I
Chris-
think it was like either this turn or the next one you were going to get knocked out of the wild shape form, and that's when things got wild.
I was getting back and getting as he attack.
Look. Next to the critical.
I wasn't sure that would do that. I guess roll 20 did that for us.
Well, it wasn't part of the original macro in Roll20, so it wouldn't have doubled that automatically.
I don't recall if you took all that damage, but oh, that's right. And then there was Matt rolling to hit. Actually, what was he trying to roll a hit there? I forget.
Probably an Eldritch Blast, I would expect.
I would expect to.
I would have been swinging on. Oh, who would that have been?
Oh, that's right, because we did take you out. That's right. We took took you out of the wild shape, and we actually you were down, and we accrued to God you there, so we could get that death to
That's
tie it
true.
up. That's what
Yeah.
happened here.
Death. Oh, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, we were tied up. We had to get tied up for this to work.
Oh, I remember now. Because I was in a situation where I was standing next to a bunch of Marilys, I, instead of doing my wild shape, took the disengage action and forgot to wild shape. And then I got crit and all those hits against me. And
Yeah, the Scorching Ray and then those hits, and
Caught you with your shields down.
we did, and that was kind of our saving grace there for the hit the sudden death. We got you down. Your strategy was certainly tough and on point because those wild shape hit points are definitely an advantage to try to get through all those hit points at a third level character.
But it only works if you actually wild shape.
Funny thing that, yeah.
Well, both teams here in this match had excellent strategies coming in to try to make sure that we didn't actually get you guys couldn't get advantage on us, and we didn't pose as much disadvantage as possible.
At this point, Team Jumanji was trying our best to knock out this darkness that was giving us disadvantage and giving you guys advantage. So we were trying to use the pack tactics from Direwolf and having that bear there to do whatever we can to roll at straight rolls instead of being at disadvantage, trying to knock that concentration.
I do recall that, and you guys were trying to. I kept making those Constitution saves, keeping that darkness up. Looks like we ran out of time during our match, and we were coming into where we were going to be in a sudden death, where we're going to roll right to that clip. We're going to go ahead and let that clip play on through. Ross will guide us through that and kind of give us the play-by-play action and all the tense action that was going on with this sudden death match. Our sudden death at the end of the match. I thank you guys all for watching. Again, we'll come back in, kind of recap at the end of the sudden death.
See you on the other side, folks.
Thank you.
So he's attacking with his bite and claw, 14 and 9, both missings. Right. Okay, so it looks like we're now in sudden death. The time has ran up. All players must now re-roll initiative and go in regular order.
Okay.
And then the next death loses.
Oh, wow.
Because we have a tied game right now, 3 deaths each.
Woo! Hell yes.
Okay, so please update yourselves in the turn order as you guys are rolling initiative. Oh, JD, look at that. Yeah, and so you can respawn, like, way back. I need to move the Spheres of Annihilation one more time. There it is. Okay, so it looks like JD, you're the first to go. So he's dashing through the Dread Marilith statue room. Matt Evans is allowed an opportunity attack. Attack of opportunity, excuse me. Miss. And provoking another attack of opportunity, this time from Chris. This is not with it. I'm going to say this is not with it. This is not with advantage because Chris is in darkness.
He's in darkness,
but JD is not. Not at the time.
JD, when he moves out of his range, he is. Because JD will be moving from there.
All right. So here's the thing. I'm the referee. I'm going to say no attack of no advantage. We're just going to move on. Okay. Cool.
Oh, sneak attack damage. Oh, that's right. You got it. Forgot it.
Okay, then it looks like Team Chimera with Nate is up.
Yep. Let's see here. What do you count as do you count like diagonally as having advantage against here for flanking? Right. Okay. So then we will cast more spell, and we'll do Burning Hands. Or no, I'm sorry, we're going to do Scorch Ray again with advantage. $16 hit, right?
So a 19 and a 6. Correct.
What's that again?
So Nick, so he is Nate is using a ranged spell attack in melee, so all his attacks are straight up.
Okay, so then 19, 16, and then the other one would not hit. There you go. 10 damage.
For total of 10 damage. Okay, so then it looks like
That third one would not hit.
that is our first humiliation. Nate, you are knocked down prone, and the Spheres of Annihilation scoot over one more spot.
Alright, I'll use half my movement and stand back up. And then, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and... No, I would go ahead and just move right there with the rest of it. Because again, I got 50. So I got another 25 I can kind of move, but I'll stay right there.
Okay, Scott. So Scott has moved into a flanking position, and as a brown bear shapeshifted druid, he is doing a multi-attack.
Miss.
Looks like a lot of poor rolls, unfortunately, so he's missing. Scott, are you done? And he is bonus actioning to rage, and then I think that looks like it. So, Matt Evans? Yep.
Can you bonus action in a rage when you're in wild shape? Okay.
Matt Evans is moving in. And he's swinging his attacks with dual weapon fighting.
Oh no, 8 darkness.
So with the advantage of darkness, he is hit.
Critical.
And a critical hit from the Morning Star. $20 damage. And okay, so that drops you out of your shapeshifted form. Does that drop you into unconsciousness? Nope, not unconscious. Okay. So it looks like we're moving over into the other Matt's turn, Matt S. Matt S is moving up and attacking the Tabaxi, the cat warrior.
Attack of opportunity. And I'll go ahead and hit him with Eldritch Blast, so I can cast a spell as Warcaster. Feat. And apologize, get it back to my screen. Does that hit with advantage?
Oh,
Okay,
that's
so
a solid hit with a 19.
all right, then yeah, take your 10. Oh,
Oh,
so
humiliation!
it's a 1. So, but that cancels out, so you still rolled a 1. Humiliation.
All right, Matt stands back up out of the humiliation, and Chris finish out the round. Okay. Tabaxi, as a Tabaxi, Chris has a climbing speed and climbs the walls to go up and around.
He was always within 5 feet.
The ceiling is a 10-foot ceiling, and that provokes an opportunity attack from Matt S.
From JD.
And also from JD because you left that space. Oh, sorry, I misspoke on Matt S's. But JD misses it, it's cool. So moving on, Chris, make your attacks. He's going to bonus action and place a hex. Mm-hmm. Chris is now attacking with Booming Blade with advantage and a solid miss. That ends the turn. Spheres of Annihilation are coming in and will eventually crush you guys unless you finish out the match, or break through the wall of primordial ice. We go back up to the top of the order with JD. He's shifting back into a wolf, turning around and attacking Tabaxi.
Oh, that's a humiliation. Oh, that's Chris's. I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong one. Looked at the wrong one. Yep. No.
And a miss. Okay, Nate.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and attack with Eldritch Blast at advantage on the. Sorry, I apologize. I think it's JD. Does that hit?
That is going to hit with a 23.
Yep. And that is actually all I'm going to do right this time. I will actually move one spot over right here.
All right, and then Scott. Scott is skirting the edge of the wall, swooping around. You've got flanking and pulls into flanking right where you are.
No.
No.
You would have
You're
flanking right here.
there.
Miss. And a hit.
Attacking with flanking as a brown bear, the bite misses, but the claws hit for 8 damage. Rolling a concentration check on the darkness spell.
We got it.
And he makes it. I gotta tell you, it really feels like Team Chimera has made some really clutch, lucky rolls on this match. So Matt Evans, you're up. All right, a battle axe comes in for a 21, and that hits for 11 slashing damage. And the Morning Star with a 24 for another 11 piercing damage. JD is getting absolutely beaten. Are you still conscious? JD is still conscious. Here's the thing about druids, man. They have so many hit points. Yeah. All right, Matt S., you're back up. Matt S. attacks with a rolls a 2, and thus must drink the hooch. Are you done? Okay, Chris. He Hexblade's Curse on JD. Slashing at him with a rapier. And a booming blade. 17 hits. Another 5 piercing. Plus Hex, plus the sneak attack, piling on the damage. 15 damage all told up. All right.
Ooh.
Oh, man. Okay, that's turn. The Marilith statues are destroyed. We're pinning it in. And JD, you're still up. You're still fighting, and it is now your turn.
Yep, I will shoot you with Eldritch Blast. And yep, here's Eldritch Blast. Woo!
Attacks of opportunity come through, and crits are made. And he's now casting Thunder Wave. Blasting all 3 of them. That's all right. We trust you. Just do it. So all 3 of Team Chimera need to make a Constitution save. Poor saving throws all around.
Oh,
Ooh,
Chris doesn't
Chris
make it.
fails miserably. Okay, is that it? Then Nate.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how we can move here. Actually, I could just. I'm gonna go ahead and move. No. I want to keep you in darkness. Apologize. We're gonna stay right there, and we're gonna go ahead and Eldritch Blast my guy right here. All right, 6.
That's obviously gonna miss.
Oh, I know it's at advantage. I mean, so it's 21.
So 21 and 6 damage.
Yeah, 6 damage. I apologize.
No problem.
He drops.
Drops to unconscious. This is where we're going. Scott, jumping in there. Kill something, man. Yep. Scott moves in for a flank on the Tabaxi.
Take attack of opportunity. And actually, how are you flanking the Tabaxi?
I got it.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay.
So no opportunity attacks.
No opportunity
because he's
attack,
within
okay.
5 feet of Nate at all times. comes in for the flank with a crit on the brown bear bite.
The other one's a critical fail.
And the other is a humiliation. Yeah. Plenty of movement to stand back up and keep it going. So that's a lot of damage to the Tabaxi. But the Tabaxi is still up.
And whose turn is it?
So then it is Matt Evans.
Matt, why don't you move in? Yeah. Whatever shape he's in.
All right, you slide in. And that is dead. Woo!
Good game. Good game. This was closer than I thought it would be.
Yes, that is a very close game at 3-4, and that means that Team Chimera has taken the victory in this game. Thank you all very much for our inaugural exhibition match of 5th edition Team Deathmatch. Like I said, please support us on our Kickstarter, and thank you again for dealing with all of our sound issues. This is we are not professionals in this whatsoever, and this can only get better. Thank you guys for watching. We're all going to be signing off from the Twitch stream itself, but we'll be in the chat channel to talk about strategy and breakdown and any other questions that players have. Thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everybody, showing up. Yep. Thanks again, everyone, for watching our inaugural match of 5th Edition Team Deathmatch. I do appreciate you all coming back and viewing this as our inaugural match. And we are definitely want you to go back over to the Kickstarter and go ahead and get a pledge, get some really cool PDFs or whatever, how much you want to pledge. You can get even a book shipped to you. And I believe there's some matches that we have coming up here soon. Josh, if you want to tell us about those.
Yeah, we've got a match coming in on tomorrow, the 18th of November. We have a match on November 25th and November 30th. And then immediately following that, there's a match on December the 2nd. You can always catch live updates from 5th Edition Team Deathmatch on Twitter at DDE Adventures. Be sure to go check those guys out. They're always putting out cool stuff, linking other people who are playing with us. It's a good place to go check.
And the videos from the prior matches as well. There was a match on the 17th that is also going to be up, and you can watch that as well. And I believe as well as November 12th there was a match. And we'll probably get these matches posted up here on YouTube as well for all of your viewing pleasures, as well as on Twitch.
So, from us here at 5th Edition Team Deathmatch, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.